Okay, so I've got all my arrows in place. These ones need to be brought down because they're not sitting on the timeline properly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift select all of these arrows. That one's giving me so much issue. Okay, let's see. This box is really big, so I'm just going to make it smaller. Okay, so I'm going to select all of these and then I'm going to hit Object Arrange and say Bring to Front so that they're all sitting in front of on top of the timeline. I'm going to get rid of this path because I don't need it anymore. And then this is going to come into play in just a moment. This one I need to also change to match the style of the others. And this arrowhead's probably going to go on the other side. Nope. I was wrong. Wrong. Okay. Arrowhead 7. Okay. Perfect. So it's getting there. And, you know, I can't go all the way to the end with this one because this tutorial would be way too long. So there are definitely some things that I need to clean up, you know, that I would go through and spend more meticulous time cleaning up in here. But we don't have time for that today. So let me just show you the last thing that I wanted to do, and that is just to make a quick graphic and a brush, because what I want this path to do is to be on fire, since that's what this part of the process would be. And I'm just going to take this and move this here. So let me show you how I created this windy path. There's a really easy way to do that. And there are many different ways to do it, but what I did is I just used the pencil tool. So I just used the pencil tool and made this squiggly, crazy stroke like this. And then it smooths out a little bit for you. And that is all I did. So that is all we need to do. Okay, so what we are going to do for the portion of the timeline that where things get crazy and the rabbit hole begins is we are going to create just a simple brush that creates some contrast with gray and then white, basically. So I want it to be high contrast and I want it to pop out from the rest of the design and show, I guess, you know, visually represent the chaos that happens in this part of the project. So what I'm going to do is just go over here to the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to create a rectangle here. We do not want to have a stroke, and the fill for this is going to be white. And I accidentally created a second one here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. And then I want to go ahead and duplicate it. And this one's going to be that chalky gray that I've been using. So chalky gray. And then I'm going to select both of these and just duplicate them a few times. So there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And what we need is the brushes panel. And I don't have my brushes panel open right now. So all I need to do is go to Window and Brushes. And what we're going to do is click this new brush icon down here. And I think we want to use Pattern Brush, I believe. So let's see here. We're going to leave everything We're going to leave everything as default and we'll just see how it looks. So let's hit OK. And then here is the brush. Let's just see how it looks. This could not, I don't know, we'll see. Oh, wow. Yeah. That is not what my intention was at all. Let's see. Maybe I need to turn it. And I have made a few brushes in the past, but this is certainly not something I've done a ton of times. Let's try art brush this time. And so here you can see it's going this direction. Scale proportionately. Let's see if this is going to work a little bit better. Not quite. If I make this really small. Let's try to add it that way. We'll try pattern brush again. This is looking better. Okay. So let's select this path again. There we go. That's what I was looking for. It only took 3 tries. So what to watch for when you're making a new brush for a particular composition is making the brush into the proportionate size that you want it to be for your composition, I suppose. There's a lot of different settings to play around with, and it could, take forever to go through those, but that's the very, very basic, and you can see it was a little bit of trial and error for me of getting this brush set up for this composition. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and conclude the first exercise in this tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and put my windows back here so they're not all over the place. You can go back in. So what I want to do is just export this artboard because you're going to be turning, whatever you did with this file in for submission for this. So I'm going to come over to artboards here and I'm going to figure out which artboard this is. And one way to do that is just to select your artboard tool over here. And you can see that this is, so this gets a little bit confusing because of how Illustrator numbers things, but you see how it says artboard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it like names by default, but they're all out of order. So the best thing to do is to rename your artboard. So I'm going to just call this design project. And I know that I need to export artboard 5. So to export this, I'm going to go to File, Export, Export As. We're going to choose a JPEG. We're going to say, yes, use artboards. Yes, use a range. And the range is 5 because this is artboard 5. So you're going to go ahead and export that. That's going to my desktop. I do have this project in CMYK. I didn't address that at the beginning, so I'm going to change it to RGB here. And then what you'll have is your file exported onto your desktop to turn in. Really quick though, to change this from CMYK, which is for print, to digital screen setting, which is what you will want for this. It's just here in File, Document, Color Mode, and then RGB. So we'll go ahead and switch that over. And you can see the colors do change just slightly, but now I'm in RGB. So do make sure that you save your project where it's at, and I will see you in the next task. All right. See you then. Bye.